Hi, and welcome to the Unhinged History Podcast, the podcast where two compulsive nut jobs are going to mainline history memes. And then we're going to reflect and compulsively learn the stories behind them, and then regurgitate the story we've just heard and learned upon our fellow co-host and those of you who have decided to tune in. I'm host one, I'm Teresa, and that.
Is Angie, and we make no apologizing for our regurgitation onto your brains.
And you're going to enjoy it or you're going to tune away. But, we hope you come back.
You're gonna like it,
So
because I said so.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go because I have a
Go.
story I've been wanting to tell. Like I downloaded an audiobook that was 24 hours long about a
That's amazing.
topic that I thought was 3 paragraphs long,
Okay.
and then went, oh,
There's so much.
oh, and it just keeps going. And so there's like an aspect of this that I'm gonna hyper fixate on. So you be
Okay.
prepared to zoom out and zoom back in, zoom out and zoom back in because like there's like a
Okay.
lot of like there's a shit ton of nuance. I'm gonna like heavy reduction it down to like a single thing, but this is a very complex thing. All right.
Okay.
So everything I'm about to tell you is true-ish. You know what I mean? Like it's true, but there's like I'm
Hold
only
on. Are you telling an Angie story where the story's not resolved at the end, and gosh dang it, we still don't know the answer?
no, no, no. The story's resolved at the end. We do know the ending. And you're gonna be like,
Okay.
oh, but there's like, but yeah, but there's also, and you didn't mention, and okay,
Okay.
like there's going to
Okay.
be so much of that. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
hyper fixating on one thread in a very large tapestry.
Love this for us.
Okay, I am going to tell you about the Black Hand, the secret organization that started World War One.
Yes! I wanted
Seriously?
someone to do. Yes. I know. I know this much.
Okay.
Like
All
that.
right. So here we go.
Go.
My sources, The Sleepwalkers by Christopher Clark. This is like the heavy duty audiobook. And then it was just like, this was okay. And then BYU had a couple articles, both written by Michael Shackelford, The Black Hand, The Secret Serbian Terrorist Society, and Sarajevo, June 28th, 1914, The Assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. So, are we ready?
Go. I'm so excited.
Yes. Um, Bosnia and Herzegovina, their provinces just south of Austria. And until 1878, they'd been governed by the Turks.
Okay.
Now, I know 1878 is a very long distance away from World War One, but I promise you, like, I have to zoom out to zoom in, okay?
No, this makes sense because a war doesn't just start yesterday.
And what's
Everything leads up.
yeah, like when you look at the book The Sleepwalkers, it talks about how World War One seemed so improbable until you zoom in and you go, "Oh no, this was a slow boil."
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So 1878, there's this thing called the Treaty of Berlin, and that settled the disposition of lands that were lost by the Turks. They'd had a war with Russia, and they did not win. Austria was granted power to administer to the two provinces indefinitely. So they kind of pulled in these two states.
Okay.
Now, Bosnia is comprised of three different people groups. You have the Croats who are Roman Catholic. You've got the ethnic Serbs that are Serb Orthodox. And then you also have Muslims that are left over from the days of Turkish rule. There's not a people group, an ethnic people group called the Bosnians. So you have the
Okay.
Serbs, the Croats, and the Bosnians just
Right.
live in Bosnia, but they're not an ethnic group.
But they belong to any one of these three
Yeah.
group. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Now, the Bosnian Serbs, they feel a very strong nationalistic desire to have their province joined to other Serb nations across the river in Serbia.
Okay.
And many
Sort of makes
Serbian,
sense.
yeah, many Serbians are like, yeah, same, same. You are my kin. Like, let us do this thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Okay.
reasonable.
Right. Now we're gonna fast forward quite a bit. So October 8, 1808, just 2 days after Austria,
1908.
1908. Thank you for translating.
Got you. We
So
all
to
have one job. Mine is to keep Teresa honest about the timeline.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest about my facts, but just don't trust the numbers that come out of my mouth if they don't go along chronological order.
It's what I'm here for.
So 2 days after Austria annexes Bosnia and Herzegovina, there's tons of people, many high-ranking Serbian ministers, officials, generals, like top brass. Like if you've got any political clout, you go into this meeting in City Hall in Belgrade. And then
Okay.
they found this semi-secret society. So I'm thinking like the best kept open secret kind of deal.
Right. Like
Now,
where
this,
you really get the good salami at Costco.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So this group is called the Narodna Odbrana, National Defense is what it translates to.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this has a very pan-Slavic focus. So they believe all Slavs should join together and be a part of this brotherhood. The purpose of this group is to train and recruit partisans for a possible war between Serbia and Austria. So they're like,
Okay.
should stuff kick off,
Could be.
we want to be prepared.
Right.
Now, they also undertook anti-Austrian propaganda, which makes sense to me. You know, you want to do a little bit of psychological warfare as well. And they're organizing spies and saboteurs to operate within the empire's provinces.
Okay.
So I honestly, this felt very CIA.
Yeah, honestly, I think in my humble opinion, there has been some version of the CIA in every country that has had any lick of power since the beginning of time. It's
Yeah,
just never been called the CIA until today.
no, and the CIA is only the CIA here.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. But you get what I'm saying,
right,
right?
right.
Like there's
Yeah, yeah.
always
Like,
been some sort of
yeah.
yeah.
Now, okay, so this is all happening. There's satellite groups that are formed in Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Istria. Now, the Bosnian group goes under the name Mlada Bosna, which is young Bosnia. So
Okay.
that's the splinter cell, so to speak. So the national defense, their work is so effective that in 1909, Austria, pissed off beyond belief, they pressure the Serbian government to put a stop to the anti-Austrian insurrection. So they're calling them out
Okay.
on their bullshit.
Love this for us.
They're like, you know what? We see what you're doing. You're mean mugging us from across the room. Knock it off.
Turn around during timeout.
Exactly. Like, we are the teacher. Quit passing notes in my class
Okay.
or drawing penises on the whiteboard, whatever analogy I need to use here. But they're a little ticked off. Now, Russia, meanwhile, Slavic, they're thinking like, oh, we could always just like Serbia's like, well, Russia will stand behind us. Russia will back us. Russia, the big bad world power. Now, Russia's like, "Ugh, I'm kind of not ready to join another war. I kind of figuring stuff out, just kind of had one, kind of want
Kind
to,
of having my own issues.
yeah, I kind of want to, be my own for a while. Um, so they're not ready for a show grade. So Belgrade begrudgingly complies. They don't want to, but they're going to. So from then on, the National Defense Group, they concentrated on education and propaganda within Serbia, and they try to fashion itself into a cultural organization.
Okay.
So they just kind of like refine their strategy and focus in on the psychological aspect and then build dissent from within.
Hey, I feel like that's gonna work.
Honestly, like all of this, I'm just like, okay, I've seen this pattern play out. So many of these members, they form a new and again secret organization. So secretly secretive. And they continue their terrorist actions. So there's 10 men that they meet on May 9th of 1911, and they form a group that I will not try to pronounce in Bosnian, and it translates to union or death.
They serious.
Yeah, they become also known as the Black Hand.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is where it's coming from. Now, by 1914, they're up to several hundred members, maybe as many as 2,500.
That's decent.
That's a
Okay.
yeah, that's a decent membership size.
Yeah.
Now, many of these humans are Serbian officers in the army, and their professional goal of the group was the creation of a greater Serbia by use of violence if necessary.
This also checks.
I mean, look, if you have a goal, it's important to understand what that goal's success looks like, how you're going to measure it, and then how you're going to execute to get to said goal.
That can apply to any number of different
Yeah,
forms of life.
I don't care
Business.
if you're
Yeah.
selling candy bars or building a website. This is the plan of action.
Yeah. Every time.
hmm Now, the Black Hand is training guerrilla warfare as well as saboteurs, and they're arranging political murders. So they are uber chill, very demure.
Very modest.
Yes. Now, they're organized at a very grassroots level. They only have 3 to 5 member cells, and you pretty much don't know anybody outside of your cell.
I feel like this is just asking for problems later when you need to like actually, I don't know, collect and do something with a bigger group than 3 to 5. And this is also how World War One starts.
I mean, maybe, right? So keep all of this in mind because there's district committees above them and then central committees above that. So there's layers of bureaucracy. And I think the bureaucracy bit is fascinating to me because it's always incredible on where bureaucracy gets things going and then where bureaucracy breaks down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think bureaucracy breaks down as soon as it gets something going. Like, we've
Well,
built it and now paperwork.
but it's sometimes it's like the paperwork, it might be a slow-moving beast, but it is a moving beast.
To some degree, yeah, to some degree, I would have to agree with you on that, yeah.
Okay, so we have the district committee, the central committees. The central committee's in Belgrade, by the way. At the top of all of that, there's a 10-member executive committee, and that's led by a dude named Colonel Dragutin Dimitrovic. Now, he
Oh,
is
that's a name.
known by Apis. So from here on out, I'm going to be calling him Apis.
Love this
And
for me. I need you to have the visual that I have.
which is
My
because I have,
6 foot,
go ahead.
my 6'2" son loves it when he's looking at me from the top of his bunk bed down because he says I look like a child with my hands up saying uppies.
Okay, I'm grateful that that's what you had too, because that's all I was hearing was a 2-year-old going, uppies, uppies. But
Hmm.
apparently, uppies he gets the nickname for his strength and stamina,
Oh, okay.
which is
Yes.
incredibly different. Okay.
Yeah.
So anybody in the Black Hand probably doesn't know anybody above them except for maybe one superior, and very few know anybody beside them outside of their own cell. Okay, so it's very much like you can't rat anybody out that you don't know.
I mean, it keeps everybody safe.
Yeah. Now, are you ready for part of their oath that they say when they're
I
joining?
can't believe you have this information. Yes.
Of course, I have this information. Okay,
Go.
part of the oath is before God, on my honor and my life, that I will execute all missions and commands without question. I swear before God, on my honor, on my life, that I will take all of the secrets of this organization into my grave with me.
Oh, they serious.
They have big feelings and they have big plans, and
Mm-hmm.
ain't no mountain high enough.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. I'm here. Just, yeah.
Just for that, I'm here.
Now, the Black Hand, they take over all of the terrorist organization or actions of national
Okay.
defense, and they begin working deliberately at obscuring all distinctions between the two groups.
Okay.
Okay. They're trading on the prestige and the network of the older organization. So
This
they're
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, they're like, hey, hey, we're part of national defense, part of national defense. I mean, we're different, but we're also same, same, you know? Now, Black hand members are also holding high and important positions in the government and the army.
Okay.
So incredibly embedded.
Yeah. This is, I think, how it works. You get them in there, dig those claws deep.
The Crown Prince Alexander, he's enthusiastic about their existence as well as a financial supporter. So
Of
they've
course he
got
is.
some pretty good backing.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this means that the group is holding some heavy influence over who gets appointed into positions of government, as well as the policies that are passed,
Okay.
because it's all the way to the top.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Now, it's fair to say that the Serbian government is pretty well informed of all Black Hand activities as a result, despite them being secretive.
Okay.
So best kept secret, best kept open
Yeah.
secret. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, we get some things that kind of fall apart because 1914, the Black Hand becomes a little bit in their feels with the Prime Minister Nikola Pasic. And they don't believe that Pasic is being aggressive enough towards this pan-Serbian cause or this pan-Slavic cause. Yeah, pan-Serb cause. Like they're like he could go harder.
Okay. Go
And
big or go home.
basically, and so now they have this kind of power struggle about who's going to control the territories that Serbia annexed in the Balkan Wars, which are another thing that kind of leads up to this boiling point. Now, basically, the prime minister is in this very difficult place because he knows that if he stands up and says no to the Black Hand, it's dangerous because again, they have this really fun tool at their disposal called political assassinations, and they really like it. It's very
They're
fun for
good at
them.
it. Yeah, do what you're good at.
And so, it's later on. Appius is thinking, you know what we need to do? That Archduke Franz Ferdinand, I think we got to off him. He's the heir apparent to Austria. We should just take him out. This would be a
Problem
good
solved.
time, you know? The ruler of Austria is just
Yeah.
this old fart who's going to have to give it to his nephew because his kid died. So let's just go after Franz Ferdinand. Nobody likes him anyhow. Ferdinand's an ass. We'd be doing everybody a favor.
Get you the solid out of it, you know?
Yeah. So they're like, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to recruit three young Bosnian Serbs, and we're going to train them in bomb throwing and marksmanship.
Okay.
And there's like this little bit of nuance. I was like, this would have been so much more exciting in sophomore history had they like brought this part in. Because I'm like, you were trained in bomb throwing?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, when you think about it, there's a lot of school level, like high school and middle school level history that would have been so much better if the nuance was taught instead of just the dates and the names.
I mean, like, if they'd have like leaned forward and whispered, and then they taught them to throw bombs, I'd have been like,
Yeah.
can you say that again for the kids in the back?
You can
What
speak
is
a
the
little
proper bomb
louder.
throwing technique?
Is it the over or
Do they
like
honor the hand that is your dominant, or do they force you to throw right-handed? Like, I need details.
yeah,
Do you
honestly, you're not wrong.
Are you pulling the pen first? Is it a different kind of thing?
Yeah, I
Anyhow,
got questions
I
and you people have answers.
they should, but they're like, and then Freddie, will you read the next paragraph? But no, no, go back one, go back one. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true.
Princip, Gabrinovic, and Grebes, they're the first that are recruited. They're the three that the ones in the history books that are named.
We come to know
Yeah. They're smuggled across the border into Bosnia via a chain of underground railroad style contacts.
nothing is new in this world.
Nothing is new, okay? Now, it's Appice who decides to apparently like killing the Archduke. That's his idea. He should get credit for it. But it's also incredibly not sanctioned by the full executive committee. He kind of goes rogue here.
Hmm. I mean, it honestly checks when you think about how world wars operate that it would start rogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the executive committee, they probably realized the reason why they probably didn't sign off on it is they're like, ooh, you know what? This is going to end regardless of France Ferdinand just being a putz and needing to go out. It's going to result in a war between Austria and Serbia, and they're kind of bigger, and we really don't think Russia's going to stand behind us. Even though Russia should side with us, they may sit this one out. And if they do, even at all, a little bit, we're going to get our asses handed to us. But they're like not anticipating world war because we'd never had one. This wasn't even on the option. This wasn't on anybody's bingo cards.
Right.
Now, other in the government, they and some in the Black Hand Executive Council, they're not as confident in Russia's aid. They kind of sense Russia may be wanting to just sit this out. Like they got some little pebbles before the boulder. They're like, I don't know. Russia seems sus here. Now,
Russia says they want to go home.
yeah,
Um,
Russia said something about an 8 a.m. meeting tomorrow in Moscow, and that
I
they
gotta
they may not need to stay out too
go.
late tonight.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, Russia had let them down, like in recent history. So this is kind of what they had going for them. And then when word of this plot that is bubbling up goes through the Black Hand leadership and then to the Serbian government, Apis is told, don't proceed, shut it down.
Full stop.
Now, Apis kind of makes this little half-assed attempt to intercept the young assassins at the border, but oh shucks, they'd already crossed.
Darn it. I tried. They
I
do move quickly, the youth, you know?
Yeah, my these knees ain't what they used to be. And
Checks.
yeah, so it's very weaponized incompetence as far as I'm concerned.
I love weaponized incompetence.
So this half-assed recall kind of makes Apis look like he's a loose cannon and that these young assassins are these little independent zealots.
Well,
Now,
I mean, that kind of is what it looks like.
it honestly, here's the crazier part. The recall happened 2 weeks before the Archduke's visit. Two
And you
weeks.
mean to tell me you couldn't get a fax or a homing pigeon or something over the border to let them know?
You couldn't send a half-hobbled horse.
Yeah, seriously. I don't think our boy Uppies is trying very hard.
I'd go out on a limb and just say he kind of went, "Oh no. Anyhow, what are we having for dinner?"
Uh, what are we having for dinner?
So this is all going on. The assassins are idling around Sarajevo for an entire month,
It's ridiculous.
and nothing is done to stop them. In fact, they have this incredible network that smuggled them in and then are feeding and housing them,
And giving them the time of their life while they're in Sarajevo.
and nothing is utilized to stop them. Okay?
Couldn't send a text message. Couldn't Facebook message them,
No.
drop into their DMs, nothing.
Mark safe if you've abandoned the plot to assassinate the Archduke.
That needs to be the meme. I'm here for it.
So all of this is happening. And so this kind of calls into question how strong is the desire for the government to actually stop this plot? Because it
It's not
seems
looking very
like they
strong.
really don't give a crap.
Well, honestly, if Uppies failed and nobody proceeded after him to try to stop it, they're not looking like they're too hot about it, you know?
They do have a couple more attempts I'm going to get into.
Oh, okay.
And they're
I'll
all
wait
going
here
to
then.
they're going to leave you with more of the what? What? Okay. So, the because the government, the army, they all fully know what the Black Hand's doing. They're all in on this game of telephone. The prime minister, when he learns about the assassination plot, he goes, "Ooh, crap! I kind of got this big problem on my hands because if I do nothing and they succeed, the Black Hand's going to come to light, and then I'm going to be in Dutch."
Yeah.
Okay, now if he stops it. Now the Black Hand's going to be pissed off at him.
And he's still going to be in Dutch.
And he's still going to be in Dutch. So he's up a creek
Yeah.
without a paddle, the whole nine, okay? Now there's this connection between the Black Hand, the Serbian government. Serbia is going to be in a bad position. Okay, this is just going to be what it is. And it's going to, he's like, you know what, this is just going to end with war with Austria. I might as well just send a cannon now, kind of deal. Like, this sucks. Now he's like,
Send a bigger bomb. I just
you just honestly, just your own head in a box. Here you go. My bad.
so sorry.
Yeah. Now he's like, ooh, should I warn the Austrians of the plot? Because if I do, my countrymen are going to kind of see me as a traitor. But then I'm admitting to a deeper anti-Austrian action in Serbia, which means that they're going to be super angry at me. Like, he's he's in the worst place. I can only imagine this man's indigestion.
I was just thinking his irritable bowels. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's same. It's all connected. Now, so that there's that weak ass attempt to intersect the assassins at the border, which fails. And when it fails, he decides, well, maybe I'm going to try to warn the Austrians in maybe a very vague, diplomatic way so that I don't expose the Black Hand.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, so he gets a hold of the Serbian minister to Vienna. And he's like, look, your task, warn the Austrians. That's your job, warn the Austrians, but don't say anything about the Black Hand. So now, this guy has some very extremist pan-Serb views, and he's not well received by the Austrian Foreign Ministry services. So
Of
he,
course.
I mean, what do you need of a diplomat? You need him to get along with that specific office, right?
Typically, that would be what you hope. Like they're supposed to speak the language, they're supposed to understand the customs. Like,
So apparently, he spits in the face of everybody there, and his only friend is the Minister of Finance.
which feels like the last person you want to go to and say, "Hey, maybe keep your Duke."
It seems it's going to rain in Sarajevo his entire visit. The weather's going to be deplorable.
Weeks. For weeks. What you can't see is Theresa and I's faces at each other.
Yeah, it's going to be raining men. It's raining men. It's raining men.
Hallelujah.
You shouldn't send him to Sarajevo. Now,
I heard there's going to be a thunderstorm
mm,
on Tuesday.
so June 5th, the Serbian minister tells the Minister of Finance that it might be good and reasonable if Franz Ferdinand were not to go to Sarajevo. Quote, some young Serb might put a live rather than a blank cartridge in his gun and fire it.
So are
And
we just out shooting blanks for funsies anyway? That sounds like it's happened before.
yeah, that sounds like that's just common practice, just to fire
Yeah.
blanks while pointing it at another human for
Of,
giggles.
of high-ranking stature. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you do.
Now, the Minister of Finance, because he is in the accounting department and not a part of diplomatic services, he doesn't recognize this as maybe a subtle diplomatic innuendo. And so he misses the warning completely and just responds with, let us hope nothing like that happens.
Idiot.
And he's just like, do, 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 do. And the Serbian minister is like, ooh, maybe he didn't understand. But does he double down? Does he repeat himself? Does he say, maybe the birds will have diarrhea in flight and migrate over his path? No, he doesn't say a damn thing. He just goes, anyhow, it's another bottle of champagne.
Would you like some canapes?
So literally everybody in Serbia at this point is phoning it in, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
So we have the three Black Hand trainees. They made their way into Sarajevo. And a month before Franz Ferdinand gets there, there's a fourth man named Danlio Ilic, and he joined the group on his own. Um, then we have the three recruited, and then there's
I have a question.
yeah.
And I don't know if there's an answer for this, but are they in Sarajevo for that whole month before, just like it's the idea to prep or in hopes that he'll come sooner, or like why are we there so far ahead of time?
I
My
don't
assumption is prep.
I mean, prep feels really hard. Like prep feels like the right answer, but how hard are you prepping? You know what I mean? Like What do you need to do to
Yeah.
prep so hard?
Well, I think in this case they weren't prepping, but in other cases, snipers would be, I don't know, checking their marks locations and how the wind works there and the height of the buildings. There's like all kinds of things to check. I feel like these guys are not. I think they've
No.
probably checked out.
Yeah, I think checked out is probably the best way to put it because they recruit three others. They recruit Vaso Krubrilovic, Svetko Popovic, and they're 17-year-old high school students.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like I did not
That
realize
is
in
my
high
son's
school
age.
they had 17-year-olds in this plot.
I didn't know that. That's my son's age.
Uh-huh.
He's
And
not
then
plotting nothing but where dinner comes from.
you would think.
Holy cow. I'm such a time to be alive, I guess.
There's also another human, a third one, Mahmed Mamedbasic, a Bosnian Muslim, who's and he's added basically to give the group less of a pan-Serb appearance. So he's trying to round out to be the diverse voice at the
Okay.
table.
Okay.
Um, they've got six Serbian army pistols, nope, four Serbian army pistols, and six bombs that are supplied from the Serbian army arsenal. So
Okay.
each has a bomb. Four of them have guns.
Okay.
Okay, now we're
Got
going
it.
to zoom out to Franz Ferdinand. He accepts the invitation of Bosnian's governor. Um, Now he's going to be there to inspect the army maneuvers that are being held right outside of Sarajevo. This is kind of his exact role because he is the inspector general of the army, and this just is the logical outcropping of this.
This is what you would do as that job. Yeah, that
Yes.
makes sense.
And it's also been 4 years since a prominent Habsburg has visited Bosnia on a goodwill trip.
Okay, so this is serving multiple purposes.
Yes. Now,
Literally.
the visit also coincides with Franz Ferdinand's 14th wedding anniversary.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that.
Now, I mean, like again, like this is all those things once you hear like, oh, holy crap. Now, his wife Sophie, she's not of royal blood. Like she's blue blood, but not quite like I would have inherited a kingdom. And so she's not permitted to ride in the same car as her royal husband back in Vienna.
That's stupid.
It is stupid. Now, these taboos, they don't apply when you travel outside to these provincial areas. So if you go to Sarajevo, there's certain things that are just looked the other way. You're allowed to get away of some of the bizarre little
Rules.
bits
Yeah,
of
no, that makes
etiquette.
sense.
So she was stoked because she's going to be able to ride in the car next to her husband on their anniversary. And for her, this is a pretty thoughtful anniversary gift.
Okay.
That's when you know your standards are low.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm just thinking about how I've never once been, oh, I could ride in the car next to my husband on our anniversary.
yeah, what a gift. What a treat.
Thank you.
Apparently, so this should go without saying, she's not received well at court because of her heritage at all.
Forbid a girl have normal life.
Yeah. Oh, and when Franz Ferdinand is told he's going to be the next, to take the crown, he's told his kids, Sophie's kids, won't be in the line of succession.
So dumb.
Okay. Now, I should also let you know that everybody also kind of hates Franz Ferdinand.
That wasn't shocking.
So they're the shitty power couple.
Got it.
Okay. And I feel like we lose that nuance. Like my history teacher didn't say they suck ass.
Yeah,
Nobody
neither did
likes them.
mine. Neither did my mine, in fact, never even said Sophie's name.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So it should go without saying, because this whole thing has been a shit show, that security is not of the utmost priority when they go to Sarajevo.
Shocking.
Now, it's okay, Franz Ferdinand, he's brave, but he dislikes the presence of Secret Service men. So
Okay.
brave and stupid.
That's a great combination.
He also doesn't like the idea of soldiers between the crowd and himself.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
We're sensing a
He wants to
theme.
be seen as a man of the people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So, for the most part, he's welcomed warmly by the Bosnians. Sarajevo's not hostile. So he's like, look, there's a lot of things we don't need for this. We don't need to do all the
Set that
pomp and
aside.
circumstance because I am easygoing and they love me anyhow. So he thinks. Now, the arrangements that were made are not based on the assumption that the streets are going to be lined with assassins, which is an
Okay,
incredibly important thing to think about. They're like, you know what? Ain't nobody gonna.
you're good.
So Sarajevo at this point only has 120 policemen there who are going to work this for a city.
In the whole of the city. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's around 10 a.m. and the Archducal party leaves the army camp where Franz Ferdinand had performed a brief review of the troops. So he did his thing. And the motorcade consists of 6 motor vehicles that headed for City Hall for a reception that's hosted by the mayor. There's a chosen route down this really wide avenue called Apple Key, and it followed the north bank of the river. The first automobile, you have the mayor, um, the city's commissioner of police, and in the second automobile with the top folded down, flying the Habsburg pennant, rode Franz Ferdinand, Sophie, and a general. The driver's the car's
Okay.
owner, who's a count, and he obviously rides in front because he's the driver. Now, the third automobile in the procession carried the head of France's military, Sophie's lady in waiting, the general's chief adjutant.
Wait, the head of the military for Ferdinand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said for France's military, and I'm like, wait, why is
Well,
France here?
Franz is Franz Ferdinand's. I was going
Yeah,
by
I'm
his first
hearing.
name, not France. Sorry. Good. Thank you for
Yeah,
calling that out because I would have heard it in post and gone, well, great. What do I do now?
I didn't invite this party.
Yeah. There's no croissants in
France, you
this
stay
deal.
home.
Okay, so basically a bunch of, the notable but not top brass, well, top brass, but not the headliners.
Right. Okay.
And the sixth automobile is empty. It's a spare in case something happens, right? Okay. So it's a warm, sunny morning because it's the best day for parade because nobody said it was going to rain. Many of the houses and buildings are lined, they're decorated with flags, flowers. Everything is just swept beautiful. It's an incredible
Okay.
small little European city. It's going to be gorgeous. There's crowds that are lining. Everyone wants to see the imperial couple. And then you've got the assassins strung out throughout the group. Okay. They take
Right.
up their
Okay.
assigned positions. The first in line is Mehmet Basic, uh, and he's to the west of the bridge. Near him, we have Kabrinovic, and the others are all the way out to another bridge called the Kaiser Bridge. Now, the motorcade approaches the crowd, and the crowd begins to cheer. Franz Ferdinand's car passes Mehmet Basic, and he freezes. This guy just stalls, doesn't do a damn thing. The next man in line,
Well, he was there just as the token diverse, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, okay. Not to say that that's an excuse, and that's not exactly why he was there, but if I was just called to be there because I was the one white lady in the group, I might just walk away.
I mean, I think if you're the first person in the group, the chance of you breaking is more likely than the one next to you going, I can't
Oh,
break because they broke.
fair. So fair.
You
And
know what I
also,
mean?
why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
what is, yeah. Yeah, so fair.
Like, I kind of feel bad that we know the dude's name.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so all that to say, Kabrinovic, he ends up having a bit more chutzpah in him, if that's the right word to use here. He takes the bomb from his coat pocket. He strikes the bomb's percussion cap against a lamppost, takes aim, and lobs it. As he's lobbing it, the bomb is flying through the air. There's a ton of things that take place all at once. The Count, who's the driver of the car, he hears the bomb that hits the lamppost to strike the percussion cap. He thinks they had a flat tire. Someone yells, Bravo, now we have to stop. The driver who had seen the object flying, he does the opposite. He slams his foot on the gas and he just goes as fast as he can. As a result, the bomb didn't land where it was supposed to go.
So he saved his life.
Exactly. Now, Franz Ferdinand, he catches a glimpse of this thing going through the air. He raises his arm, deflects it away from Sophie, who is sitting to his right. So Franz Ferdinand, like, strikes the bomb with his arm. and the bomb glances off his
That's
arm,
nuts. I had no idea that ever happened.
right? Okay, it
Yeah.
goes off his arm under the folded car top into the street behind them, and then the explosion injures about a dozen spectators. The third car's hit with fragments and it stalls. So one of the guys receives a cut in the back of his head. The others in the party, they had minor cuts. Okay. Now the first and second cars continue on for a few moments and then they stop and they assess whether everybody's injured or not.
Okay.
Kabrinovic, the guy who threw the bomb, he had some cyanide tablet that he was given for when things hit the fan. He takes it and jumps into the river. Couple of problems with this. The cyanide he was given was old. So
I thought so.
it only made him vomit, and the river's only a few inches deep.
You were there for a whole month and you didn't know the river's only a few inches deep.
Look, they were drunk at the time. There were other things to be like there were public houses available.
There were other things to do. I got
Right.
it. I got
Yeah.
it.
So the crowd seizes him, they arrest him, and the motorcade continues on to City Hall, passing by the other assassins.
Okay.
Now, they either thought that Kabrinovic had succeeded or they failed to act and froze up as well. Unclear. Okay.
Okay.
At City Hall, Franz Ferdinand has some big feelings about all of this, and he confronts the mayor.
I mean, fair. I
I
would
mean,
too.
my adrenaline would be a little high, my heart rate would be a bit up there, and I would probably spout out and say some stuff because you turn the
Yeah.
oven on, I'm gonna cook.
I love that phrase. Good for you.
So Franz Ferdinand says, and I quote, Mr. Mayor, one comes here for a visit and is received by bombs. It is outrageous. I think I'd have gone a bit harder, but here we are.
Pleasantries.
Now, after a pause, he regains himself and he let the mayor speak. The mayor, either completely unaware of what's happened, or maybe he's just ill-equipped for crisis and he had one stump speech and this wasn't it. He launched into his prepared speech to the crowd. Your royal and imperial highness, our hearts are full of happiness. That's how it starts.
Wow.
Yeah, his improv skills were not up to snuff.
I don't think he actually knew what improv was.
No, no. And he probably, I'm hoping, was also unaware that this guy just had a bomb lobbed at him.
I mean, I think he'd be pretty aware after he said that. What he said when he got there, but hey.
Yeah, but either way, mistakes were made, which I think is
Hmm.
the title of the entire episode. And
Yes, I would have to agree.
by the end of the mayor's speech, Ferdinand, he's regained his composure completely. He thanks the mayor for the cordial welcome, and the activities go on as planned.
Of course they do.
Now, there's discussions happening about do we change everything that we had planned coming up? Because, I mean, this was an assassination attempt. And the Archduke is like, no, no, we're not going to cancel the visit to the museum and the lunch at the governor's residence. That's going to happen. But we will do a slight deviation because I want to go visit my man Marisi at the hospital who got the cut on the back of his head.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that feels noble. That feels honorable. So the same motorcade goes out along the same route, but neither the mayor's driver nor Franz Ferdinand's driver had been informed of the change of schedule because that would have been
Oh,
the dude in the
okay.
hospital's job, and the dude in the hospital is in the hospital. So we took out a key chunk. Now,
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes
the
sense.
the young assassins, they didn't have a plan B. They had plan like somebody on this route will just take him out. Not we've all
The
failed, now
end.
what?
Yeah, okay.
So they had no idea that Franz Ferdinand was going to follow his original itinerary. And so they all took up kind of various positions along the quay. Gabriel Princip, he crosses the quay and strolls down Franz Joseph Street and he steps into Moritz Schiller's food store to get a sandwich,
It's my
which,
favorite part of the whole story.
and as he emerges, he meets a friend who inquired about a mutual friend. Hey, have you seen our man? Yeah, 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 Pietro or whatever it is. Like they're just shooting the shit. Now, the mayor's car, followed by Franz Ferdinand's car, they turn off of Apelquay onto Franz Joseph Street as originally planned to travel to the museum. And that's where the general leans forward. And he says, "What is this? This is the wrong way. We were supposed to take up Helkey." Now, the driver put on the brakes and began to back up. And the car stopped literally in front of Schiller's store, 5 feet away from Princip.
It is so wild to me that like that this is the part of the story I'm familiar with, and I can't it it, it always just kind of sits there in the back of my mind that like this happened on accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Princip standing there, and I can only imagine sandwich in hand.
Mm, the whole hoagie. I'm seeing
Yeah,
it.
right. And he's kind of like, oh crap, I see what's going on here. And then he pulls his pistol from his pocket, takes a step towards the car, and fires twice. The general looks directly at Princip as he fired, and he thought the report was a little quiet. And so both
Hmm.
Ferdinand and Sophie are still sitting upright. So the general thinks the shots missed given the assault and ordered the driver to drive directly to the governor's residence.
Okay. Was not aware of that part.
Princip then turns the gun on himself, but gets mobbed by the crowd, and police had to come rescue Princip from the crowd before they could arrest him. Now, Princip had also followed the poison, but it came from the same batch as Komprilovich, so he becomes violently ill but doesn't die.
Okay.
Now,
What is the point of cyanide if all it's going to do is make you violently ill?
I mean, if you're just trying to fake death, not that's the way to go. But if you're trying to end it, yeah, maybe not suffer
Yeah.
unduly. So the car goes across the bridge. There's blood streaming from Franz Ferdinand's mouth. He'd been shot in the neck. Sophie, seeing this, explained, "For heaven's sakes, what happened to you?" And she sank from her seat. The general and the driver thought that they had fainted and were trying to help, or thought she'd fainted and tried to help her up. Franz Ferdinand, knowing his wife better, suspected the truth. Sophie had been shot in the abdomen and was bleeding internally.
Oh.
So he cries out, Sophie dear, don't die. Stay alive for our children."
Mm.
The cars rushed to the governor's residence, and Sophie probably died before they arrived, and Franz Ferdinand died shortly after.
Devastating.
So the murders of Franz Ferdinand and Sophie they bring all of the tensions between Austria and Serbia to a complete boil. Serbia had been really stirring the pot for years and years. And for many in Vienna, the double murders were perceived as the last straw to this get tough showdown.
I mean, checks.
Now, the Black Hand and their involvement wouldn't get unraveled for several years to come, and Vienna felt that they shouldn't have to wait for conclusive proof, that they had enough circumstantial evidence to just go for it.
Okay.
So they took a hard line against Serbia, and the other powers of Europe began to take sides. And everyone's like, "Look, you remember this? We traded sandwiches for Doritos. You're on my team. You said you hate so and so, so you're on my team."
Gang rules.
Yep. Now, the wheels of war begin to gain speed. The stakes kind of keep growing, and the squabble gets bigger and bigger. And it ends up becoming less about the Archduke Ferdinand and Sophie being shot and more just about these tensions. Like they begin to refer to it as the July Crisis, not the assassination of the Archduke.
Okay.
Because they're like, look, we hated him anyhow.
This guy's been a pain in our ass for years.
Like, and so that was one of those things where I was like, oh, oh. Now, the involvement
Yeah,
of the
that's funny. I kind of thought like up to this point that he was like the beloved son of, and that's why. Like it was just such a
no,
devastating blow that dad was like, absolutely not to
the
war.
beloved son, he ended up killing himself.
Of course.
And so then they had nobody else, and Franz Ferdinand was like the next in line as like the nephew, and he's like, well, put down the comic book and drop the Mountain Dew, and I guess you can sit on the throne when I kick it.
Is the Do we know the name of the beloved son?
I think that was Franz Joseph. I
Okay.
think I'm not quite sure. Now that you ask me, I can't off air as soon as we stop recording, I'll be like, oh yeah, it was so and so. But right now I'm like, I don't know. I don't
No, no,
remember.
no, you asked me on the spot. This wasn't in my notes. I've
Yeah,
panicked. Yeah.
yeah. So you get the panicked answer, not the real one. Um,
Yeah.
Now,
I'll Google it later. It's fine.
that's good. We could Google it now, but I'd lose my steam. But
No, you're
basically,
fine.
like it takes a ton of time for everything of the Black Hand to come to the top because everybody else is too busy being like, well, I hated you for years and I hated you since that. And then you stepped on that borderline and that was part of my territory and we should have gotten that first. But that is how a small secret organization started World War One.
Um, Thank you for that.
Oh, and I should mention that this Black Hand is not a secret organization called the Black Hand that I mentioned during Mrs. Sherlock Holmes episode.
You know what? That's so funny. I had to go back and look through one of my episodes because I thought that one of the secret organizations I had talked about was the Black Hand, but it was the Black Dragon.
Yeah, no. So there's been a couple Black Hands. This is not that one. And also, part of the problems leading up between Austria and Serbia was a pig war, but it wasn't the pig war that we talked about in American history. This one was not
That's
near as petty.
fantastic.
Yeah, so there was like a
Oh,
lot
that's
of the
sad.
wait, what? No, not that one. Serbia didn't
The
care about the Americans versus the British shooting each other's pigs.
the the it's only happened twice, but it's just weird that it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's been kind of what's been running through my brain as I'm like trying to tease all of this apart, being like, but wait a minute, who was Uppies again? You know, like,
Uppies.
yeah,
He was Uppies.
he was
I wonder
Uppies.
what happened to him.
Oh crap. I don't remember. I feel
I
like I
bet you
knew
he
that, and then I didn't put it down.
I bet you he lived the rest of his life in like marginal obscurity and died like old.
Well, I mean, maybe because they did go to war, right? And he was a high-ranking dude in
Yeah,
the government.
okay. So it could go both ways.
So yeah, I can't say I know fully what happened to him.
Either way, thank you. That was awesome.
My pleasure.
You've made my day.
Yeah, so that was just a lot of and I tried so hard to take so many names out because it was just like, well, this person's important for a paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, I think you did a fabulous job.
Well, thank you. And I think we have like an awkward amount of time where it's like, this could be an entire episode.
I think we'll have like 5 minutes. I think
Yeah,
we're
pretty
okay.
much. Because I can't say I paid attention to when we started.
We started just after one.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're good.
Oh, wow, this was an entire episode then. Okay. Well, on that note, if
You
you're
killed it.
thinking, holy crap, I can't wait till they told us a story about Uppies. Does Down get a story? Tune in next
Is
week.
Downey's gonna be here?
Yeah, like rate, review, subscribe. Share us with our favorite person who you know would probably start a secret organization to lead to a next world war. We all have that one friend that's a
Or
little unhinged.
or the one friend that's totally a little unhinged and would stop and get a sandwich on their way to an assassination. I'm that friend.
Look, we've got time for snacks.
Oh, we always have time for snacks.
And if you have time for snacks, welcome to the club.
Yeah, we can be friends.
And on that note, goodbye.
Bye.